welcome. Listen, I'm doing this video because I see it's a must video because I was gonna write a book because two things disturbing happened to me and something I read. One of the things is I was working one day and I seen a black woman with a white man. The white man seen me and he felt a little leery about seeing a black man and he had a black woman. So the black woman asked him, she said, I don't care about that black man. Why you worried about him? So what happened was that I turned around and looked at her and I approached both of them. I told the man, listen, you may be a good person. You might have the kindest heart in the world. I said, but do us both a favor. Don't ever sit up here and let a black woman tell you to forget about a black man. She didn't say forget. She said F a black man. All right? And I said, don't ever let a black woman tell you that. I said, because a black man and black men around him would take 400 plus years of violations from white people off on your behalf. All right? Then I walked away. And I told her, I said, you was dead wrong. And I walked away. And when I walked away, another white guy was standing there. And he said, you know something? I get that, man. I get that. He said, I was trying to figure out why black men have a problem with seeing white men with black women. He said, but slavery and the cause and effects of slavery and things that happen in slavery, he said, I get that. Now I understand. So that made me believe that I have to really speak on certain things. Because white people are trying to understand why black men have a problem with seeing black women with white men when a lot of black men are running around with white women. All right? Okay. I'll get it now. So I said I'm going to have to do a video. We're going to have to sit back and talk about triggers. Then I had an incident when I was reading an article on Willie Lynch. Now, most of us don't know what Willie Lynch is or the system that he put together or he claims that he put together. All right? Or people claim that he put together. See, now they disputing the fact about the letter and everything like that. But I'm saying this here. Regardless of what happened, he may took credit for the most systems that he made research and found that worked against enslaved people, all right, and cause and effect, and long terms and cause and effect. And he probably researched and probably just took credit for it, put it all together on pieces of paper, gather all information, the best ones, the best systems that worked, and maybe took credit for it, or maybe found research and just took credit for it. Whether, regardless if it's true or not, we know the cause and effects are reality. All right? Whoever taking credit for it, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? People have to deal with that on their own. But the reality is that a lot of the cause and effect and the system that they set up did exist. And a lot of the cause and effects happen today. And we have to deal with that. So I'm doing this video. Like I said, I was going to write a book. But I said, no, I'm not going to write a book. I'm going to put together a video. And we're going to put together, and we're going to sit down, and we're going to speak to white people and black people. All right? And we're going to understand this. I got a list here of all the things that happened. All right? Willie Lynch. Based on his information, based on the information they took, they had a system, right? That they believe that a lot of psychological and emotional information about keeping a person in control and making that person self-control himself is the best way to go through women and through the uterus, through their pregnancy. They said because whatever the woman is thinking or fearing or learning, that it would go through the system, her system, into the baby. So the baby would come out already trained in some shape, form, and fashion to either fear the slave masters or to accept certain ways of life because of the mother. You know what I'm saying? Through her DNA, through her attachment to the baby in her womb, right? She's already self-trained. Now, see, scientists today already know that. If you talk to your baby, why the baby's inside the mother, you read to him or read to her, it affects the child. You understand? It affects their learning ability, all that. So that research that he's talking about do exist, all right? And I think today, a lot of reasons why white men in general are trying to have babies by black women, or they're trying to get rid of that mentality that was brought down through generations through the mother, that was passed down about hating white men. Yes, what I'm saying. And this is why a lot of them want baby girls from black women because they know that the black, the light skinned women, black men would be attracted to them first and foremost, right? Which would come into our community. You understand what I'm saying? But their ideology and their acceptance of white men as their fathers, you know what I'm saying, would be a totally different thing than a lot of black women born up with that hate towards white men. And a black man who has hate towards white men. It'd be a whole different household if the daughter's mother, or if I mean the daughter's father rather, was a white man. You follow me? See, because now she's not gonna feed that hate into the baby. She's gonna feed love. You understand? So that'll break the chain. Hopefully, it'll break a chain and take us out the mentality of hating all white men. You understand? So this is a systematic thing going on. Right? It may not be true. I mean, I may be speculating, but don't get it twisted. A lot of people know the science. You understand? And a lot of them believe that in order to affect change, you have to affect the mother. And you have to affect the womb. You have to affect what they're teaching and giving their child from birth. Because it's the same with God. You can see this is a verse. Instead of making hate and fear, they making love and acceptance. To reverse all that happened 100, 2, 3, 400 years ago. All right? This is the plan. All right? This is just my speculation. All right? Now, Willie Lynch, they says also that he called something called breaking the buck. All right? That's a system that they use to take somebody, a male slave, who they assume that may become a possible leader, rebellious and stuff like that, and they broke them. So what they did, they raped them, they sexed them, you know what I'm saying, in front of everybody. So they belittled them, turned them out, the whole nine. Made them do all types of foul stuff, okay? So they can show them who's in control. Even this so-called leader or somebody they looked up to as a possible leader, they broke them down, let them know y'all can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They broke them down. All right, that's breaking the buck. That's the system that they put together to break a lot of rebellious male black slaves, right? Now people say, well, what they got to do today? Today, that system still works and affect us. But you know where it affect us at? And you know where still practice that at? In jails. They still breaking the bucks in jails. But now they doing it among each other. Because people come to jail, they see the baddest dude coming in jail. What they call booty bandits go right at them. They're going to break them down. You know what I'm saying? They're going to turn them out. See, that whole system still exists today. That same mentality still exists today. And people don't even know it. These are effects of slavery. You understand? Breaking the buck now, you see that in jails. All right? In some cases, you might not even see it in the streets out here. All right? That's going on. People getting raped and all types of nonsense. All right? They breaking the buck. right? That's a system that was created in slavery time and still going on there in our jail. So you need to fix that. This is why I'm doing these videos because y'all don't even know the effects of slavery, and it's still going on today. All right, that's one thing. We're gonna go down the lynch. We're gonna go down the list here. All right. Another thing is the thing of slavery, and black people act like they don't realize it's the actual effect, the cause and effect of slavery. Beating our kids into submission. They'll keep saying we don't have no effect of slavery, but this is a direct effect of slavery. Nowhere would we in history we just run around beating our kids in Africa or any other place. You understand? It wasn't until we came over here in slavery and they was beating us into submission that we took that as a practice among our own families and our own culture to our kids, beating them into submission. So those are effects, direct effects of slavery. But you don't know that. You don't think about it. You say unconsciously you don't think about it. No black people was running around beating their damn kids. It wasn't that was embedded in us. And we accept that and we do it ourselves without the white people enforcing that on us. You understand? And this is all part of what the system that was created by slavery was already told. They told them that the system they creating was going to be a long system that they don't have to even enforce no more, that we was going to enforce it ourselves. Okay? And this is one of them. Raping each other in jails are another one of them. See, if you don't know these things, you ain't gonna be able to change them. All right? So that's two things. That's part of the direct concept of slavery. Now, this is a very system thing. See, in history books, they always called us niggas, black people niggas. All right? But we became to accept that, right? But they taught us to accept that, to attach that to us, attach that to ourselves, right? We are so embedded with that word that their system of enforcing that has opened the door for us to enforce it ourselves. To the point that here it is a new millennium, and 400 or 500 years later, we are trying to justify creating this word to be accepted among ourselves because we are so embedded to giving that word to us that we actually trying to find reasons to justify giving it to ourselves rather than just eliminate the whole word out of our vocabulary altogether. You're going to justify calling me and talking about it doesn't have no effect on you. Maybe the word doesn't have no effect on you, but the ideology for you to actually use that word as something to attach yourself to is the effect. You understand? You would kill me as a black person. Another black person would kill me for his right to call me a nigga. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But you should appear talking about the white person can't call you a nigga. But that was all the purpose. He don't have to enforce it no more because you're enforcing yourself. You're finding ways every day to accept that word and put it into a whole new millennium. You took that word and attached it to yourselves and to black people in general as your own, as they gave it to you as your own. And you still justifying that, and you still don't recognize the fact that this is a part of the mentality, the setup, the system that was created in slavery for you to be able to accept that word on any level and to take that word all the way into the next millennium. Rather than just letting it go, knowing that with the bad attachment to it. You're going to try to justify talking about you don't have no meaning, but you would kill me if you couldn't actually sit up here and call me a nigga. And you saying slavery don't have no effect? Sure it do. Okay. Seeing white men as a superior. Oh, we not afraid of white people. We're not afraid of white men. You still see white men as superior. All right. Overall, right? White men is not the most successful people in the world. All right? You have more people of color that's rich and living better than white men. All right? But see, we say white men. We don't say a white man. We say white men. See, because we in our own mind already accepted that the whole white men race are superior. They all doing good. They all living good. That's a myth. But that's been planted in your head. You don't even realize it's in your head. You sit up here and put these people on pedestal. When you find your level of success in life, you compare your level of success with those of white people. All right? You don't compare yourself in success with Asians, all right? Africans that's billionaires, any of them, Latinos that's billionaires. You don't compare yourself with them, all right? You compare yourself with white men. You could figure yourself as they are the ones that's sitting on the top of the world because it was embedded in your head through your ancestors, and to this day it still affects your beliefs, and you still keep thinking that you haven't been affected by racism, by slavery, but it still affects you because unconsciously you still see this man as superior on every level. Because any level that you try to climb, you keep trying to compare him as your level of success. So that's another thing. Now I'm gonna deal with triggers, right? See, because white people and black people do need to know what our triggers are, all right? A lot of times people don't know what triggers are, but these are triggers for us, and we need to know them. I mean, black and white. See, because we need to be accepted of them. We keep thinking everything is good. You know what I'm saying? That slavery is over. See, black people have learned to forget. See, because a lot of us are spiritual in nature, all right? And trust me, if anybody need to be giving people a pass on anything, it should be me, all right? Because God had gave me so many plays, man. You understand? Gave me so much forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be here if he didn't give me forgiveness. So I have to give other people forgiveness. See, that's just the spiritual, the godliness, and just the Christian in me. You understand? Because I have to practice what I preach and what was given to me. You follow me? This is why I'm giving out these tapes. This is why I'm doing this, because you need to pass this information on. Because if order for us to fix it, we got to see it to understand what's going on. See, me myself, I have a problem when you promote interracial relationships with black women and commercials and stuff like that in society, and you turn around and don't have no pictures of black men in the picture. When you have gatherings of all the other races and picnics and stuff like that, there's no picture of black men in the picture. See, now this is systematic racism. This is manipulation of the mind. You understand? And just nipping black men out the picture. All right? I have a problem with that. See, because are Jewish people running around letting people promote Nazis, marrying Jewish women? No. So why should we forget what white men did to our women or white women did to our black men and promoting that as successful? No. You understand? We have to forgive, sure. But we shouldn't forget, and we should be outright. Listen, they was killing Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all that stuff was going down in the South within my lifetime. So don't think men supposed to forget that. And like I said, they are being affected. Even the young kids today are being affected, and they don't even realize it. So no, we have to fix all this before we accept that one stuff. All right. So one of the triggers is a white person calling us a nigga. See, those are triggers. All right. So you know that every white person in the world knows that that's a trigger. All right. But there's others. Okay. Seeing interracial relationships, and I'm talking about not only black men, I'm talking about black women seeing black men with white women. That triggers. All right. We have learned to accept it. 'Cause like I said, we are forgiving peoples. But those things are triggers. All right. They're gonna feel some type of way. Black men and black women are gonna feel some type of way when they see the interracial relationships. All right. So those are triggers. They may not really. They might look a little. They may feel some type of way. They may not act on it, but they're gonna feel some type of way, and that's not gonna go away anytime soon. All right. See, those are triggers. A white person or anybody calling men boys. See, that's a trigger. All these are triggers of slavery, remembrances of slavery. Even if you wasn't born into slavery, these things that you already know, it's in your heart, it's in your soul, it's in the back of your mind, it's in your depths. Understand? You don't even have to be nowhere. So you soon as somebody call you a boy, you automatically associate that with slavery. See, those are triggers. Okay, okay, I can. Okay, another trigger is seeing. Let me see something. I have to get my glasses over here. On your boy still born with me. Oh, still being born with a natural fear of white people. Sure, we may not fear them in a sense where we don't have them think they're coming around and just gonna enslave us or anything like that, but we don't trust you. We have a natural fear of letting you get but so far and doing things around us because we don't trust you. That came through slavery. Because slaves, masters embedded that they can't be trusted. They have done so much foul things to our people that we know we got to be careful around them. You don't know when they're gonna flip, when they're gonna do something crazy, when they're going and see we assume that even the most innocent person is crazy. Is gonna do something crazy. So we keep that in our mind, in the back of our mind. So we still fear y'all today to a point that we always think you're gonna do something crazy. All right? Either to the world, to us, anybody in general, just a natural fact. We don't fear your poverty as far as like waking up in the morning and see a white man just panicking. No, we're not like that. We just fear that you're gonna do something crazy or things that's just gonna change something. The whole world gonna get totally all messed around because of y'all. This is natural fear. You put that into the minds of slaves, and it's still embedded in us throughout the course of this history, even now. Okay. I just learned recently, right, that watermelon was the first independent growth for black people back in the South. That gave them independence. They was selling watermelon. They was marketing and selling and they was doing good. All right. Somewhere down the lines, all right, somebody twisted that whole concept. It made black people eating watermelon or being around a watermelon as a slave thing. All right. As far as like you was a poor person, you was a slave eating watermelon, stuff like that. So they made a negative out of something that was a positive. Right? That was the first come up for black people in the South. Watermelon was an independent commodity for people to sell on the market and stuff like that. Actually, people was getting paid off it. You know what I'm saying? They was growing it, they was homegrown it, and they was selling it to the markets and stuff like that. They was making a little money. But somewhere in the line, somebody remixed it and got everybody running around with big watermelon lips and stuff like that. So they made it a whole negative. So people that was making money off of it, that was growing and coming up and living up and stepping up in their world, they stopped. Because black people see that as a slave type of thing, mentality, to the point that black people don't even want to eat watermelon. You understand? They don't even want to eat it. They don't want to be seen eating, especially when you got the whole thing and you chopping up on the little, when you just cut it in half. I mean, little slices of pieces, you might get away with that. But you see a whole person sitting up there eating a whole watermelon, that's not happening. All right? Because they made it a negative thing. They made it a slavery type of thing. See, those are triggers. People eating watermelon is a triggers. You know what I'm saying? It's a myth that was they used to destroy our come up, our economy, as people being independent. That was the first come up for black people. All right. Seeing black women babying or taking care of white people's babies are triggers of slavery. So when we see that, even you never been there, you never been a slave, black people automatically see that as some form of back in day slavery. All right? And a lot of black people don't even realize that. Even the youth learn, slavery that infect me, I wasn't back there, my family, blah, 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 this and that. But it do. Because you feel some type of way when you see a black woman pushing a baby, especially a white baby. You understand? So you do feel it. You don't even realize it. It's in the back of your head. These are triggers. We may not act on, but we feel some type of way, naturally feel some type of way because this came through us. All right? And we naturally feel some type of way. Another trigger is when people see white people talking down to a black person. That's an automatic trigger, all right, of slavery. See, these are cause and effect, and people don't even know that, all right? I don't care how young you are. You see a white person talking down to a black person, you automatically feel some type of way. You understand? You automatically want to get up there and just act a fool. See, because those, you don't even know, it's a trigger of slavery. The memories of slavery, and you wasn't even in the slave day. You never was even born into slavery. But it's in your DNA. It's in your mindset. It's been passed down through you. And you don't even realize that. These are triggers. White people raising black kids. Those are triggers. All right? These are triggers that we see, that we feel a type of way about. You understand? It takes us back to slavery days. That we feel some type of way and we see that. See, these are triggers. I want everybody to know these are triggers. White, black, everybody, because we need to change the mentality, the mindset. And see, a lot of these people that probably get these people, it's trying to give us an opportunity. Probably feel, but see, they may feel that, raising these kids may give them an opportunity to have better. You know what I'm saying? They might be trying to do a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But we don't see that because we see back in the day slavery. We see somebody taking a child, one of the black children, and they taking him. You understand? Like they took him in slavery time and just do what they want with him. You understand? Okay. Those are triggers. And then the biggest trigger is responsibility compared to like responsibility. All right? See, the triggers is this. In this day and time, these triggers is this. When you promote white men over black men as being more responsible and a better mate for black women, we feel some type of way because you starting out and your whole generation is White people starting out ahead of the game because you destroyed the whole concept of family in slavery. That it affects us today. How do you think a person did not care about his child or his wife being sold or being raped and sold off if they haven't actually turned around and embed that in black men? We have to break that first and foremost. That was given. That was embedded in us. For you to sit up talking about responsibility and talking about fair, fair opportunities. You can't promote yourself as being the better man, all right, when you destroy the whole black family. And it still affects us today, all right? So let's not do that. These are the triggers. So that's my segment for the day. I hope people learn some things. I'm hoping nobody's mad because we have to talk about these things. We have to talk about them. If we're going to change them, we have to talk. We got to stop ignoring this. We have to see this and we have to change it. But you have to first know the trials, the tribulations, and the effect that we're going on in our lives. All right? Once again, I thank everybody for your time. This is nothing but love. We have to grow. You know what I'm saying? As Christians, as godly people, we all got to forgive. Like I said, I'm the only one. I should never be the first one to talk about I don't forgive somebody. And all the times that God forgave me. So, but we need to know the cause and effects and want to break them, to recognize them. Because to say that nothing, slavery didn't affect us, it doesn't affect us even now, is a lie. And if we keep believing that lie, we are never going to change and break out of what was taught to us and brought down to us through generations. And still going to be brought down to generations if we don't stop and put a nip to it right now. And that's black and whites. All right? Thank you for your time. It's nothing but love. I'm out.